On today's video, I'm gonna go over how we prep and paint an interior wall. So we're just gonna be doing one wall, this wall that's behind me, but you would use the same principles and the same methods to paint a whole house. So I'm gonna break it down step by step on what to do. So I'm gonna give you an overview, and then we're gonna watch my guys actually go through the process and actually paint the wall. So the first thing we're gonna do is make sure that we have all of the material. After we make sure that we have all the material, then we're gonna make sure that we have the tools that we need. And we'll go through those tools in just a minute. Once we have all the material and the tools that we need, then we're gonna start the prepping process. And so to start off, we're gonna make sure that we have all the material and the tools that we need. So for a simple project like painting walls, you're just gonna need a handful of tools. You're gonna need some caulking, you're gonna need some tape, some plastic, a drop cloth, a roller, a rolling pole, and a ladder. Now you might run into a couple different areas that you might need a different tool, or maybe you have to deal with a problem, but those are the standard things that you will need. And then you'll also need a screwdriver, because we're gonna start off by taking off the cover plates, off of all the outlets and plugs. And then once we take all the cover plates off, we're going to put down plastic and drop cloths to protect everything. Now, if you don't have drop cloths and you don't want to go buy expensive drop cloths, you can simply buy some plastic and tape. But just keep in mind that plastic does rip, and so you just want to be careful as you're moving stuff around that you don't get any paint on your finished floor. So I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to prep an area, and then once we're done prepping, I'm going to give you a little overview on what we did. So this is a really basic thing, taking off the cover plates, but I'm just gonna show you a couple things. All you need is a flathead screwdriver. You can see that that's a flathead. And so we're just gonna go in and we're going to remove each one of these screws. You're gonna do it carefully. If you are concerned or haven't messed with outlets very much, you can always turn the power off. One thing to be really careful of is to actually make sure you unscrew it all the way. So there you go. And then anything behind that is going to be hot. It's gonna shock you if you touch it. So once you're done, be careful, don't leave it like that too long, and make sure you keep it out of reach of kids and things like that. Typically what a lot of people will do is put a little piece of tape over the outlet, so that way if the roller bumps it, it won't be getting paint on the outlet. All right, so the guys got everything prepped and ready to go, and I'm just gonna walk through what we did and why we did it. So the first off, we put a drop cloth down on the ground, and we kind of did that for obvious reasons, just to keep paint and everything off of the floor. We've even put some tape on the drop cloth to hold it down on the edges so it doesn't slide around. We've also put some tape on the baseboard, and that helps with a couple different things. We've put a bead of caulk on the baseboards on top of the tape as well. And the reason we do that is it helps get a nice clean line. The tape helps us with the nice clean line, but it also helps with any splatter. It'll catch on the top edge of this tape instead of coming down and hitting the baseboards. Over here on the cabinet, kind of the same thing. We had a little gap there, so we caulked that, and then we put tape here, so when we take that tape off, it's gonna have a nice clean line there as well. And obviously we put plastic because we want to protect the cabinet and the countertop and the faucet and everything, and we want to keep everything really tight and clean. And so now we're going to go through and we're going to paint everything. We're going to brush and roll, and so we're going to use a brush to cut in the edges, and then we're going to use a roller to do the body of the wall. And so you can take a look at what that process looks like as we go through it, and then when we're done, I'll go over kind of what we do to clean up and put the final touches on everything. All right, so the guys have got everything painted, and so we're just gonna let it dry for about 5-10 minutes. We want it to dry enough to where it's not gonna make a mess, but we want it to still be a little bit wet, so when we pull that tape off, we have a nice, clean, crisp line. So over the next couple minutes, we're just gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna start cleaning up. And then when we're done cleaning everything up, we're just gonna give a nice close look at it, make sure there's no drips, splatter marks, anything like that. And then we're probably gonna wait a couple hours. We definitely want it dry to the touch before we start putting the cover plates back on. And so when we're done with everything, we'll just give you a nice clean shot of what the finished product looks like. So the biggest thing is making sure you have the right tools, making sure that you protect everything. Once everything's protected, it's pretty straightforward to get the work done. This is obviously a lower wall. It's not very high, so you can reach it pretty easily. If you're doing a wall that's higher, or if you're doing a ceiling, you just want to be careful and just make sure that you feel safe on whatever equipment that you're using. But as far as actually applying the paint, it's pretty straightforward. A couple things to go over. We were using a little bigger than a 9-inch roller, so it covers a lot of space. When you're rolling it out, just make sure that you are putting a healthy amount of paint up there. It's hard to say like, put exactly this much. You kind of need to have a little bit of a touch or a feel for it, and you'll figure that out as you go through and start rolling out the wall. You want to make sure that your roller is not building up or leaving a line on either side of the roller, and it's just laying down really nice and smooth. All right, so if you have any questions or need anything, definitely leave us a comment, and we'll try to follow up with additional information if you need it.